This camera does not come from DJI, however it looks, feels, and acts just like the DJI Action 5 Pro with all the same specs, build quality, and even works with all of DJI's accessories. And it's called the XTRA Edge Pro, and XTRA claims to have no affiliation with DJI whatsoever. As you can see, I was able to get a hold of one of these cameras myself, so in today's video, we're going to see how well it works compared to the DJI Action 5 Pro for shooting underwater, and you may want to stick around as this answer might surprise you. Keep in mind I have no affiliation with DJI or XTRA in making this video. This video is completely unsponsored, so let's get started. A few weeks ago I was browsing through Amazon and I came across this action camera that looks suspiciously similar to the DJI Action 5 Pro. However, it was branded as the XTRA Edge Pro. My first thought is that this is just a cheap knockoff, but when I took a closer look, I found that the price is very similar, and now that I'm recording this, it has gotten a bit cheaper, but not by enough to encourage me to purchase this camera from a brand that I'm not familiar with, when I can just go ahead and purchase the Action 5 from DJI for almost just as much money. So what exactly is this? Here's the conspiracy theory that's getting passed around right now, and of course, don't quote me on this as this is all complete speculation. So let's put our tinfoil hats on for a second, because with all of the trade drama between the US and the CCP, and of course all the looming tariffs, this explanation makes plenty of sense. So here's what I believe. I believe that this is in fact DJI, and they've created a shell company because for whatever reason, they don't believe they're going to pass through the national security audit that's coming up in November of 2025. I don't fully understand what this audit is, but I'm assuming it's something that manufacturers have to pass in order to be able to offer their product on the US market. And because XTRA's registered to Delaware, that may just be their way of getting around any barriers that they may encounter due to either tariffs or any other drama caused by the current political environment. So of course, now let's open up the box, see what's inside, and eventually get this thing in the water and see how well it actually compares to the Action 5 Pro. Or is it in fact the exact same camera? Inside the box, things are already looking familiar as I'm getting flashbacks from when I bought my DJI Action 5. And as we look inside, you can see that there's not only a protective cage, but some other accessories that are not only identical to that of the Action 5, but even appear to be packaged in the exact same way. I also want to say when you're holding this camera in your hand, it feels nice and weighty and high quality just like any of the other DJI products do. Everything that came with this box is laid out right here, and be mindful that this camera does not work with DJI's Mimo app. However, there's an app from XTRA that works exactly the same way and has a very similar layout. Just like the Action 5 Pro from DJI, this camera has a 1/1.3 inch sensor. It'll shoot in 4K with a frame rate as high as 120 frames per second, and if you down-res to 1080p, you can shoot in 240 frames per second. Now, as far as stabilization is concerned, DJI uses electronic stabilization along with gyroscopes in their system called Rocksteady. However, the Edge Pro uses the exact same system, or as they call it, Motion Master and Motion Master Plus. And of course, these cameras are going to offer a variety of color options to choose from, but most importantly, you'll have the option to shoot in 10-bit color. And on DJI, you can shoot in their own log profile called D-Log. And on the XTRA Edge Pro, you're going to have the option to shoot in what's called X-Log. However, I'm 99% sure that both of these log profiles are exactly the same. When holding these cameras side by side, with exception to their color, you can see that they each have the exact same physical features. We have the protective rubber bumper protecting the front of the lens, and then the lens itself has a protective cover that can be removed by rotating it counterclockwise. Each of these cameras have the same 2.5-inch touchscreen on the back, along with a smaller display screen that's located on the front. An important feature to point out is that on the DJI Action 5 Pro, there's a sensor inside of the O in Action that assists with the camera's white balance. The same exact sensor exists on the Edge Pro, however it's located after the word extra. Keep in mind it's important to leave the sensor uncovered, as it's imperative in the performance of your camera's auto white balance. And let's not forget about DJI's magnetic mounts. You can see that on the bottom of both of these cameras, we have the exact same mount, and these magnetic mounts from DJI are interchangeable with XTRA and vice versa. Last but certainly not least is the batteries. This is the most telltale sign in my opinion that these cameras are actually the same thing, because the batteries are completely interchangeable. Watch as I take DJI's battery from the Action 5 and stick it inside of the XTRA Edge Pro. As you can see, when I turn the camera on, it functions normally as expected. Now that we've held both of these cameras together side by side, let's go ahead and put the DJI away and take my XTRA Edge Pro into my local spring and have a little bit of fun shooting with this thing underwater. And that's about going to wrap this video up. Just keep in mind everything that I said here should be taken with a grain of salt, as it's completely based on assumptions and speculation from those of us who like to occasionally wear these tinfoil hats. Either way, let us know in the comments if you have any intel on this situation. In my personal opinion, as someone who owns both of these cameras and has now used them both in the field, after making this video I do feel pretty confident that both of these cameras are in fact the same thing, and if there was a future ban on DJI, I would honestly be pretty comfortable purchasing this camera. If you did in fact want to pick up one of these cameras, be sure to check out my Amazon affiliate link that I have posted in the description below. Can't wait to see you in the next dive. Thanks for watching.